Okay, there you go. I'm so sorry, Ayan. Okay na, no? Is my audio good? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Mic test, Ayan. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for calling me out. I was saying a while ago, folks on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, because the TikTok folks were able to hear it. I was saying a while ago that my week has been very rough and I've been tired, but I'm excited for the weekend and can't wait for that to happen. My dogs are barking. If you notice, I now am saying it in plural because I have a second dog that I'm keeping. I'm keeping a stray dog, which I uh, got last Sunday night. Melody Fabi says, working now. Ayan. Coco Jambambu says, I love your talk from You on the Rise. Thank you. I had an amazing time with the Concentrics folks 2 nights ago for their national conference for their leaders. Oh, I like this question. Oi, this is rare, ha? It's rare for me to love these kinds of questions. Queenie Boom on TikTok says, as someone who used to give advices, do you still take advice? Of course. You have zero idea. Of course, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. There is no perfect person in this world. I may be able to give advice on career, but even in my career, I also seek advice. I have a lot of mentors. I keep my ex bosses in my past companies as my mentors. I ask a lot of advice from people about health, about managing stress, right? You're not immune from knowledge, from ignorance. So, but I love this question. Thank you for raising that. Okay. See you in Toyota Santa Rosa on August 9. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm going to be seeing the Toyota folks in Santa Rosa, Laguna. It's their national conference as well. That's on August 9. So thank you for inviting me as well. Cannot wait to inspire and motivate all of you. Okay. I remember, by the way, I owe a lot to Toyota Philippines. Why? They were my first client who got us for 10 sessions during the pandemic. During that time, I think this was around May or June 2020, and I was telling myself, gosh, how will I make a living if I will not be able to go on stage anymore? And then lo and behold, more and more companies were starting to invite us instead for webinars and for live session. But it was Toyota who got us, John, we want to book you for 10 sessions. Each session is around 4 hours. Believe it or not, here's what I did. I conducted a virtual selling workshop for sales folks of Toyota from Monday to Friday. I can't forget which date was this. From Monday to Friday, one in the morning, another one in the afternoon. Those are 10 batches. Yep. I was very happy. I'm like, okay, it's going to exhaust me. I'm probably going to lose my voice, but heck, let's take this job because we need a job right now. So thank you, Toyota Philippines, for that opportunity 3 years ago. Okay, let's look at the other. Okay, Mobile Legends asks again, how do you let toxic people, or how do you manage toxic people? I think it's the one way. Um, there are many options. Number one, you shrug it off and tell yourself that this person is just one tiny speck of dust versus the big universe that you belong to, and that this person will not be able to make a dent because I decide that this person will not make a dent. That's one. Number two, sometimes you have to confront. As another option, you have to talk to the person and ask them and talk to them and tell them what your concerns are. And maybe, just maybe, this might work for certain people. There are certain toxic people who may be toxic but are not aware that they are. And the reason for that is because they're not self aware, they're probably dense. These people probably have other intentions, but it was not properly executed when they act or when they behave in front of others. So letting them know how their actions cause these might just change them as well. The third option is if you cannot change the situation, be the one to adjust yourself. And sometimes, perhaps, the solution is to get out of the environment where the toxicity is. Sometimes you can be the one who can choose to get out of the equation instead. No? Okay. By the way, I want to remind everyone our topic for tonight, since I have it, you've already jumped into a lot of questions. Our topic for tonight is John, I am not extroverted. I am not as loud as others. Can I still succeed in the corporate world? Because it seems like everyone, every company favors people who are loud, who are animated, who speak their mind, who are sociable, and know how to keep their energy in front of many people. I'm not that type, John. I'm an introverted. I don't like speaking in front of others. I prefer to keep my network smaller because I want to keep the people that I trust also leaner. Will I still succeed? We're going to answer that question later on. To advance already my response, my answer is yes, you can. And that means harnessing your strengths according to what the context calls for. We'll talk more about that later on. But I want to get your answers as well. What do you think about companies that may not be as supportive for introverted people? Or is it true? Do you really think that you have to be extroverted all the time in order for you to get visibility in the organization? Is it true that only extroverted people get promoted fast in the organization? Okay, so we'll be able to answer that question. I would love to see your answers in the chat box. Ayan, JC Lin in the chat box says on Facebook, hi, it's an interesting topic because I'm not as loud. I am an introvert. By the way, let's get the ball rolling. I want to make differentiation here. John, does being introvert mean that you are shy or vice versa? And the answer here is not at all. They have similarities, but they're totally different things. So, number one, shy people and introverted people do not speak up all the time because they probably want to keep their circles private. They don't trust everyone easily. So, for example, in a party, they're not the first one to make that connection because they want to first feel the vibe of the person. They want to get to know more the person first. Okay? So, shy people keep their networks smaller, and shy people also have issues at times with trust. That's one of the similarities. However, a shy person will not speak up because they are afraid of people's judgments. A shy person will not make the first contact because they are afraid of getting rejected. What could be the reason why? It could be a trauma in the past. It could be because they don't think highly of themselves. It could be inferiority complex also. On the other hand, introverted people do not speak up, not because they are afraid of rejection. In fact, many of them don't even care. Shy people do care about their reputation. Shy people do care about what other people think of them. Introverted people don't speak up because they just don't see the point. They feel that I don't need to speak my mind. I can share it later on in private. I don't need to say it out loud. I can share it in emails, for example, or I can keep it as a one on one conversation. I don't need four or five people to keep me energized, for example. Introverted people also don't speak up as much because they get exhausted when there are too many energies surrounding them. You know, like five different personalities talking to them. They get exhausted with that part. Okay. Shy people don't necessarily get exhausted, but they do get scared. Okay. So those two things are different. What does this mean, therefore? If you're introverted, you have a high chance of success because you can still be a risk taker. You can still succeed because this means you are not devoid of critical thinking. You're not devoid of strategic planning. You can get things done. In fact, I think one of the most advantageous features of being an introvert is because you keep your circle so small and you don't trust a lot of people, you tend to get the right advice from the people who end up trusting you as well. Compared to an extrovert who I think, because they're such a social butterfly, they end up asking questions from so many people, and that can also lead to having too many cooks spoiling the broth. Can I get an exclamation mark if you agree? Yes? This is the reason why I think, for example, like uh, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. Okay, I don't think they're the right people to use, by the way, because I'm not a big fans of them either. But they are introverted folks. And the goal of these people is to surround themselves with others who may be even better than they are. because they couldn't communicate everything that they want to share in their minds. Okay? So, not sure at all if you're not as loud as others, it doesn't mean that you are going to fail. I'm going to make one quick disclaimer though. I do think that yes, many organizations are very biased to extroverts. Extroverts are often perceived to be kinder, nicer, cheerful. And when the environment is just so stressful, what we really appreciate are people who happen to be cheerful. That's why we're more biased to looking at them. Introverted, on the other hand, they can have a very smug face, or they have poker face, for example, or they just don't laugh a lot. And so we tend to be misled thinking that introverted people are snobbish people, which isn't the case all the time. Okay? So tread this with caution, because if you happen to be introverted, you have to accept the fact. You have to be ready with the convention that not everyone loves the introverts. Okay? A lot of people prefer to talk to an extrovert instead. Okay? I hope that added insights about your perception about being loud. Okay, I'm gonna add 𝗬𝗚𝗡𝗶𝗹𝗃 says, can I have a shout out? I'm having a stressful task right now. Here you go. Here's your shout out. So thank you for joining us. Okay, Chris Di Maculangan on YouTube has this question. Let's answer this. John, I have just been promoted as a manager of the operations department. I'm pretty young, and my team is composed of people older than me. How can I manage them effectively given the age gap? Can I just say that probably we've had this question 15 times, 14 times in all of our live streams. It never runs out, no, but I'll answer this quickly. Two things. Number one, the immunity to people's judgments is credibility. No one is going to badmouth you if you're simply damn good in what you do, which means, Chris, you have to keep your skills upwards. It also means that if people arrive in the office at 9, go there by 8. If people send 5 emails, send 6. If people get a score of 10, get 11. At the end of the day, no matter how old your direct reports are, if you're simply damn good in what you do, your credibility is going to be intact. And therefore, they will tell to themselves, okay, I get it. I admit he really deserves to become the leader. That's one. But number two, leadership is not just based on technical competency. Leadership is based on behavioral competency, your ability to win over people's personalities. So I want you to make sure that your older direct reports do not see you as their competition. They must see you as their ally. So when you have a one-on-one conversation with them, tell them things like, Mr. Santos, I am not here to compete against you, or I'm not here because I think I'm better than you. I do think that you have a lot of skills that are worth pursuing, which can help you become promoted as well. And I do want you to get promoted. I do think you deserve to get promoted. So my job is to support you. My job is to enable you that the same way that I am grateful that someone promoted me, I want to pass that on to you as well. But here are the things that we need to get done in order for you to get promoted. Letter A, letter B, letter C. Okay, Chris, I hope I was able to answer your question briefly. Okay, YouTube again. Wow. YouTube folks, you guys are suddenly asking questions now before tahi-tahimik nyo. Okay, Red Cesar on YouTube is asking, what will you do to a co-employee who always highlights her mistakes and loves to share this to others with others in the office? They've been in the company for 4 years now, and most of us were just new with the company. Okay, I get mad when I see these kinds of people. Number one, Red, I will talk to this person one-on-one. I'm going to set a meeting with them in a closed room, and I will tell them that I don't appreciate exactly what they're saying. Okay? That's one. Number two, maybe you really are committing a lot of mistakes. So one way to minimize this person's, all of their irritations is you have to minimize your mistakes as well. Give them a reason to shut up. Because if you keep on making those mistakes, you are giving them bullets to fire. Okay? Number three, I would recommend to avoid this person. If you can, be civil, but minimize your contact. And I know it's easier said than done, because if they're your seatmates in a cubicle, that's hard. But I want you to avoid as much as exposure, so that if ever you do make mistakes, this this person's not going to be easy to call them out. Okay. Number four, I'm giving you a lot of tips here, like 5 tips perhaps. Try to ask your other colleagues if what you are feeling is accurate. Why is that? You might think that this person is nitpicking you all the time. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just telling the truth. So what I want you to do is to approach some of your colleagues, the ones that you trust, and then you tell them, Anna, do you notice that Miguel, every time I make a mistake, does this to me? Do I find the same thing, or is it just me who's being paranoid that he's doing it to me? Does Miguel do this to you as well? Okay. Sometimes you have to look at yourself in the mirror. You might be exaggerating things because you're biased to look at yourself, to favor yourself. Okay. If you think, okay, I'm gonna add number 6. Wow, I can't believe I was able to give 6 piece of advice for this one. If you think that this is getting out of hand, why don't you involve your manager or your HR to become an arbiter? Because you do have all the rights. If it is affecting how you perform at work, if you think that this is degrading your confidence level, you have to step in. You have to find someone to intervene. Okay? Carlos Salonga is asking, what should I do if the company wants to add workload, but the compensation has a questionable? If, when, and how much they will compensate. Okay, Carlo, 2 things. Number one, not all additional workload warrants an increase in salary. Can I get an exclamation mark if you guys agree? Sometimes it's just a stretch assignment, meaning they're testing the waters if you can take on more because perhaps they're trying to lean on to promoting you in the future, or they're testing the waters if you can get the job done. Another reason why it's okay to add workload without adding your salary is because maybe the company needs as much as helping and support from others because they're bootstrapped. They can't hire new people, and maybe momentarily, maybe for 3 months, they need you to cover the workload. I do agree with you, however, if this prolongs for more than a year and you are carrying the burden of so many other people, it's time to speak up. And you tell them, as much as I want to take on the challenge, I'm only one person here. I'm doing the job of 2 or 3 more people. It's only fair that I am given a breather because this is affecting my health. It's affecting my time. It's affecting the amount of time I spend for my family. You have to speak up. Okay? Talk to your manager, talk to HR. And again, it's easier said than done. I get it. But for as long as you justify the reasons why, and if you are working for a good company, they will be able to adjust. If they do not care for what happens to you, then that is a red flag. This is a company who's taking advantage of your kindness that you will end up doing and working things even if it's already outside your scope and they're not compensating you properly for it. Okay. By the way, may I remind you, if you want additional compensation for whatever it is that you're doing, remember that cash is not the only way to be compensated. You can negotiate with your manager or with HR through other things. Case in point, you can ask for more vacation leave. Case in point, you can expand your insurance to your families. Case in point, you can, for example, ask for more allowances which are not taxed: rice allowance, clothing allowance, transportation allowance, etc. Okay? Sometimes a company is more amenable to give non-cash benefits because it's already a sunk cost that they have anyway. Like vacation leave, for example. It doesn't require them to spend additional cash if you're given vacation leave. Again, easier said than done. Some people might be saying in at the back of their head, what vacation leave? How can he ask for vacation leave when they're not even approving my vacation leave? And I agree, some companies are like that, sadly. Okay? Mm, Ed, how do I deal with a coworker who acts like he's a senior but acts like he knows everything? Every time I have a coworker who looks at my PowerPoint slides or my work and nitpicks on it and gives me advice, even if I'm not asking for it, I will say something like, Joanna, thank you for your thoughts, but I think I can manage this on my own. If I need any help, I will let you know. I'd say something like that. I'd say it in a firm way, but still polite way. Okay? Or you can say something like, oh, Miguel, that's quite an interesting proposal. Okay? However, I still prefer to do it this way. If ever I need more help, I'll let you know. That's also another way. Okay. Another way is if you are in an office setting, I would spend more time in public where some of my office mates also are. Why is that? Senior colleagues who want to bully you will not be able to bully you easily if they have witnesses in front of them. They will usually bully you in private or in spaces where no one can see what they're doing. So the more you hang out in public spaces, the more that you can be immune to what they do. Okay? I hope that's able to help you out. Okay. Oh, what's this one? Nikki Longno. Okay, I'm raising this as a question of interest. When does a health card from a city head office should be a requirement for pre-employment? It is a separate fee from the basic medical requirement. Okay, Nikki, I wish I have a lawyer here, but in my 18 years of career, corporate world, I have never seen a company that required you to spend on something for you to become an employee. That's unfair. Technically, they're making you spend on your own healthcare. Okay. Is there any lawyer in the room? Can someone please help us shed light on this? Okay. Nikki, I'll try to ask my lawyer friends about this and I'll get back to you. No promises because I'm dependent on their response. But I'm saying this to you now. This for me is something that interests me in a very with a bad vibe. I've never heard a company make you spend on your own health card. Okay. And even if they're making you spend, they should give you an option not to take that health card also. Okay. Um, okay. Fedge on TikTok says, I'm new in my role. My colleagues make me feel incompetent because I'm still learning. What do you do? Shrug it off. The more you make these people get into you and the more you let them rent space in your head without them paying for that rent, the more that you're the loser. Ikaw ang talo. At the end of the day, you're inevitably going to make some mistakes because it's natural to make mistakes when you're still learning, especially when the learning curve is very steep. So pasok sa isang tenga, labas sa isa. And then try to be as good as you can on a daily basis. Once you're improving, it will shut up people. Okay? And again, I have limited information here, but my sense here is that you're letting people get into you. Okay? There are so many other things to focus your energies on. Don't let the bullies, don't let these people uh, get into your head. Okay? Is that question number 5 or 6 now? Ooh, Cortez. How can I bring from Facebook? How can I bring up unethical behavior of my coworkers or team leader during skip level without seeming personal? Well, number one, anytime as long as you're doing it now, okay, as long as you're gonna do it now, to as long as you're gonna raise it to them, they will always think it's personal because they will find a way to hide this from you. This is just me, okay? This is just me. So this might not work for others. But when I read this question, the first thing that came into my mind is that I would write an anonymous letter, specify who these people are, make sure, however, that I will not be known, and then send it to HR. I would probably print it as a piece of paper and leave it on the table. Then again, maybe not because there are probably some CCTV. I would rather send an email instead. I will use a bogus email in a random coffee shop in Pangasinan. So that they don't know my ISP. Or you get my point. Just send an anonymous email. Um, you're going to be more believable if your email contains a lot of facts. So many details in the facts that it's hard to ignore them. Okay? And I will only do this if I think that the end justifies the means. In this case, the unethical behavior is something that you cannot tolerate at all. Okay? What do you guys think? What would you do if you were in the position of Cortez here? Oh, by the way, Cefo Fernando is referring to the other person a while ago who told us about the health card being a requirement for their job. And Cefo says they should explain why, and there's an authority to deduct it out from your salary. It's a no-no if they require you to pay anything. Even office uniforms, companies should not require you to pay for it because it is them who chose to wear it. What more with the health card? Okay, gosh. I will not be surprised. And again, I'm going to be biased here. I will not be surprised if this decision came from a small company or if a family owned businesses. Because usually that's when the checks and balances are absent. The smaller the company is, when someone makes a ridiculous law or ruling, no one checks up on their decisions and no one challenges them that this decision is unfair. Unfortunately. Oh, okay. Ayo Santos is asking, how do I tell politely my manager that recently he started to miscalculate the time he has set for my task? It looks like I am slow, but actually I'm ahead of time in the task. Number one, don't notify your manager that you have accomplished the task only when you have accomplished the task. Give them a monitoring period. So, for example, if the task is to be accomplished in 6 hours, I will give my manager an update after the second hour, after the fourth hour, and I will tell them I'm 60% done, I'm 80% done. This way, you're telling them how exactly is your speed and how are you progressing so that they don't get paranoid that if they don't hear anything from you, you probably aren't doing anything. Okay? So, Ayo, it's important to put progress. By the way, progress bars are so important psychologically. I'll give an example. If you look at the stoplights, it is so psychologically convenient to know if it's just 60 seconds left versus not knowing when the green light is going to turn red or vice versa. It helps us prepare, it helps us anticipate. Progress bar, for example, like when you are saving and you notice on TikTok or Facebook, 50% saving, 30% downloading. It helps you feel that you are in control of the situation when you have a progress bar. Okay? Same thing also happens here, AO. You might want to tell your manager that you are ahead of it by telling him what are your progress along the way. Michelle Arenas. We have lots of viewers on YouTube today. Huh? I don't have the numbers here, but because usually we have what 5 or 10 people on YouTube because I'm not really as big on YouTube compared to let's say our 2,200 likes on TikTok, for example. No, so thank you. Michelle is saying, "Hi John, I'm your biggest fan. Thank you. I love your Grit to Great podcast with your brother. I hope you can make more recordings. Promise September is season 3 of our podcast From Grit to Great. If you haven't started listening to it, please go to Spotify, From Grit to Great, co-hosted by my brother Jed. We talk about anything under the sun about career management, leadership, public speaking, do good looks make you successful in life, how does traveling make you successful in your corporate life, all these things. Josephine Tio says, I have all your books now. Thank you as well. I don't have copies of my books here. Wala no? Yes. Don't have my copies of my books, but hope you can catch our books. They're available in National Bookstore. We have 4 books so far. And you can also catch them in Lazada and Shopee. If you're watching this on TikTok, you can go to our yellow basket. They're all available there also. Okay. Okay, let's answer some more questions before we give out prizes to our participants. And please remember, at the middle part of our workshop, we always give tickets to our career workshops on public speaking, business writing, leadership, and social media marketing. Our upcoming workshops will be conducted at the SMX Convention Center in Fort BGC, SM Aura, and August 25 to 26 are the dates. You need to share, however, this live stream on your feed in order to be eligible to join our contest today. Is that clear? Yes? So please share it now. Otherwise, even if you've answered our trivia question, we will not be able to call you. Okay? Oh, wait. Okay. Medyo nagiging masagana ang ating chismis. Nikki Ryan says, a friend, so we're referring to the same company, by the way. So a while ago, someone said that their company is requiring them to pay for their own healthcare. Okay? So Nikki says, a friend just sent me a picture of the list of his requirements and he will just be contractual for oh my gosh, contractual for 6 months. I was also shocked that there's a separate health card that you can only get from the government city office, and it's 300 pesos for the chest x-ray and 1-by-1 photo. Not an HMO, but just like a card and ID from the city government. This is wrong. I'm not even a lawyer, but this is wrong. Number one, you're making money out of your own employees. And number two, they're not even full time employees, they're simply contractual employees. This is forced spending. And more importantly, if you really want to take good care of your employees, you spend for their own healthcare. My gosh, ano ba naman ang 300 pesos? 300 pesos, and you're making them spend for it. Okay? I don't want this live stream to sound like it's a Tulfo session, but this really irritates me. Okay, Nikki, can you just send me privately who exactly is this city government? I just want to know. I'm just curious. Uh, yeah, this is just wrong. I do think it's illegal to make people be forced to spend something in exchange for employment, which is not even full-time employment, right? So sorry to hear that, Nikki. In a nutshell, says user 8653, kindly tell us how you were able to become fluent in English language. Use the language as much as you can. That's it. From the moment that you are born, from the moment that you have studied in school. In my case, I think one of the best ways to train is to join a debate varsity team. So since high school and college, I've done that. Uh, I've also been wanting to become a lawyer. I didn't become a lawyer in the end because I also love the corporate world. But when you keep on using the language multiple times, both writing and also speaking, which means when you think, you also think in English, you will end up, there is no substitute, you will end up becoming good. There is no substitute to practice. More than anything else, it's practice. It's repetition multiple times, millions and millions of times. Okay. Oh, Emerson Sarmiento is asking, any advice for introverts which are in sales? The idea here is that if you're not extroverted, you will not be able to speak as much with your customer. And that may be true. However, you don't need to be loud all the time with your customers. In fact, there are customers who don't like extroverted salesmen. Why? They're too pushy. They talk about so many things that they don't want to talk to them for a long time. They want their peace and quiet. They just want to be transactional. So, two things. One is, if you are an introvert, you might want to profile customers who are similar to you so that you can give and thrive with each other's similar energy. That's one. Number two, of course, it's hard to choose your customers. So, tip number one can be accidental or can be a stroke of luck. So, what I will recommend to you instead is that if you're an introvert, try to be sharp in listening more to what the customer is saying. Because most of the time, customers love talking about themselves. Can I get an exclamation mark if you agree? Yes? And when they keep on talking about themselves, you get to gather a lot of information that eventually become your bullets for you to be able to sell the product well. I'll give an example. If you, let's say, are a salesperson from a cable TV company, and you're offering cable TV subscription to this customer. This customer is a father, and they've been very talkative about his three children. And he keeps on saying, I have three children. One is like this, he's so cute. Another one's like this. The more you listen to how that person speaks, the more you realize, oh, Mr. Santos, you mentioned a while ago that you have three children. By the way, can I just say this because this is very important? Our cable TV subscription has one of the most numbered TV stations for kids. We have Nickelodeon, we have Disney, we have all these things. You see what I did there? The more I get to listen, the more I get to use them as my arsenal of weapons so I can attack later on. Introverts are very good in listening because they don't want to talk. They prefer to listen instead and to capture that energy from one person they're talking to. Leverage on that feature. Okay? Claudine is asking on Facebook, is rendering 60 days after passing resignation letter okay? I'm in a private company and I can't apply to another job because the rendering is very long. And the job I'm applying mostly can't wait up to 60 days. Well, Claudine, if you look at most contracts, they do not require you for a minimum amount of time to resign. Most companies, of course, require you to render 30 days minimum before you leave the company. In this case, if you're Announcing your resignation 60 days, I don't think your company will have any issues with that. If ever, they will even be happy because you're giving them enough heads up so that they can look for your replacement. So, yeah, I don't mind. Just check, however, if there's any contract issue with this, but from the looks of it, I don't see any problem with this at all. Okay. Wow, naka 12 questions na ba tayo? I think 11 or 12, no? Yes. Okay, I think we can give away now our prizes. Are you guys okay with this? Can I get the letter P if you're okay with our prizes now? I'll be asking a trivia question, which is our mechanics. The first folks who are able to answer our question quickly will be able to win our prize. Again, the only requirement to join our online contest is that you should be sharing this live stream on your feed. You have to share this live stream on your feed, please. Okay? Could you also please give me an exclamation mark or a like and a heart? We will appreciate that. Now, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, how do you know what are the prizes? Well, look at this one. You see this one, guys? These are all the 4 workshops, 3 hours each, and they are worth 1,799 pesos per ticket. If you win, I'm going to give you the ticket and you can tag along a +1. Okay? That's like almost 20,000 pesos worth of prizes. I'm telling you, that's the value of the prize. Okay? We're going to choose 2 winners on Facebook, 2 winners on LinkedIn, 2 winners on YouTube. On TikTok, which is my favorite, we're going to give away the tickets to 5 winners. Okay? 5 winners. By the way, folks are asking what are the prizes. So, I place it here. If you want to know, so hindi na pala July 28 kasi this is last time. It's now in August. If you want to know our workshops, I printed it here. Go to johnyabot.com/talks and you can have a full suite of all the modules and the outlines of the topics: leadership, public speaking, business writing, and social media marketing. Okay? So, what's going to be our trivia for tonight? Um, Category for tonight is pop culture. Is that okay? I think we should do pop culture. Pop culture or like world extremes. Pwede ba? Yes. Sige. My question is this. Pwede ba tong question na to? I'm thinking if my question is too difficult for people to answer. Hindi, it's okay na. Pwede na to. Okay, sige. So, pop culture, my question is, hindi, wag na lang guys, sorry, wag na lang pop culture. Madali to masyado. I want to make it hard. I want people to chase the answer for this one. Can you give me suggestions? Ano ba pwedeng gamit? Ano ba pwedeng category? History, sabi ni Shay. Ayoko, medyo boring history eh. History though was one of my favorite subjects in school because you just simply have to memorize, no? Ito na lang. Sige. Okay. This one's good. Films. Pwede bang films? Sports. Author of a book. Futuristic. Hindi, ito na lang talaga. Pop culture na lang. Favorite ko to eh. When I was young, I had this book called the Ripley's Believe It or Not. So I loved it so much. So my question is this. The Ripley's Believe It or Not records states that this guy to date remains to be the tallest guy in the world. He's dead now, but he is the tallest person. Like he's 7 something. Could you please give me the name of this person? Here's the clue. His name starts, his name's initials are R and W. Memorize ko pa to kasi when I was in high school, I read this page in the book. Okay? You know what I bet people are doing right now? You guys are checking this on Google search. No. Huh? You guys are checking. Okay. Because why? I'm seeing people's responses now finally. So, the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is it's Robert Wadlow. Okay? Robert Wadlow. Let's call out now the winners. Oh, pwedeng Yao Ming. Pwede. Pwede. Pero not as tall, no? Okay, so the winners are on TikTok is JT Towers. Second winner is JIV on TikTok. Third winner is Mishka 1428. Fourth winner is Jing Gantaneo. And fifth winner is ZRJ. ZRJ. How do you claim your prize? Please claim your prize. TikTok winners here. johnyabot.com/free, and you will be able to get instructions on how to get your prize. We do not give a physical ticket. It's a digital confirmation, and that's it. You can just attend our workshop. Make sure you register your names. Okay? johnyabot.com/free. Now, for our winners on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter and YouTube, the winners are the following. First one is Age McBride. Congratulations. Second winner is John Paulo. Congratulations. Now, on YouTube, my winners are Amiel Tristan Gonzalez. Amiel, di ba nanalo ka na before? But good job. You're very bibo. Second winner is M. Sarmiento. Congratulations also. And then my last two winners, this time on LinkedIn, is Paul Roman Perez. And then second winner is Ronnie Isorena. Congratulations to all our winners. Thank you for joining our contest. I hope I get to see you in our upcoming workshop. For those who have won on YouTube, LinkedIn, and also Facebook, I am typing it now on the chat box. Please claim your prize using this link. Okay. I'm also going to call out our team. Annabelle, who's part of our team, who's watching, please take note of the names of the winners. And the reason for that, why? We have found out that some people are entering their names in the portal even if they have not won, unfortunately. Sad. Guys, you have to be fair. You have to be also honest. Okay? Ooh, Ayo, by the way, said Robert Wadlow was 8'11". Gosh, that is not a human being. No? Grabe. So I think the reason why he got sick is because meron siyang sakit sa paa and then it got infections or something, I think. I think that was the reason. Congratulations. Let's give an exclamation mark to all our winners. Let's do that, please. As we enter the second half of our discussion, and I'm trying to look at the questions now again of some people. Let's answer now. By the way, today, I think I'm going to go beyond 15 questions, which is a good thing. I'm breaking my records. So James Cariaga on Facebook has this question. I'm a CX head for 3 main products. Now the company hired a director of one product and I'll report to him directly. Most likely, he will recalibrate my KPI, focusing on one product only. What's your take on that? Feels like I got demoted. Well, James, if your salary did not change, your position did not change, and your workload, even if you only have one product only, will still be compensated by other types of workload, I don't think you're demoted. Technically, I can understand why you feel that way because you feel like perhaps the importance of the products that you are managing are not anymore as big as doing only one. I get that. It means your visibility is going to be limited. It means that your exposure to management is going to be limited. I get that. But I guess this is what the company is looking for. I guess they really want to take on an external person to become a director. What I would recommend, however, is that make sure that you keep a good relationship with the director because this person is going to be your bridge for you to progress your career. If this director finds it right and fitting that you are worthy to get promoted, then I think that you will be able to gain back what you think you have lost, if you really have lost it. Okay. Also, I don't know why your entire information here, but if the only product left to you remains to be a very important product, I don't think you're being demoted by the company. Okay. I think what happened though is that they were stretching you at the start because they were still looking for the director. So you probably thought that this was already your permanent job or your permanent scope, and then you realized that they were really looking for a director all these times. Maybe it got late, I don't know, and you feel like you're demoted because of that. I do think it's also a matter of perspective in this case. Okay? Okay, let's answer some more questions. Any tips on job hopping from marketing to being a college teacher, says Gen 6. Uh, well, number one, my biggest frustration is that I think there are a lot of college teachers who suck in their job. What do I mean? They're amazing in what they know, but they don't know how to convey it to their students. They're very boring. They don't know how to motivate students, especially kids, and they don't know how to pace their speed. Some of them teach too fast, some of them teach too slow also. And they also don't appreciate the concept of visual learning, kinesthetic learning, auditory learning. And the reason for that is simple. We do not require college teachers to have teaching degrees, nor do they need to take teaching credits. They just need to be a subject expert of the matter. So I'll give an example. I finished economics, and in my university, I have some of the most amazing economists. Most of them end up working for the government. Problem is, I do think that a lot of them are not good teachers. So it depends. In my case, though, so in your case, however, what I will request you is that be mindful of the learning styles of your students. If your students are young, these are likely visual learners. So they are after photos, videos, infographics. They're going to get bored if you keep on teaching with just pure voice or pure text on the screen. Okay? If you're a marketing person, you likely have a DNA of being creative. Channel that creativity into making your teaching styles more creative and more engaging to students. Okay. Ooh, Jing says, do you plan to teach in a university someday? Lots of students will be able to learn so much from you. Two things. Number one, I'm going to challenge that because I don't think I need to be a university teacher for me to do what I am doing. In fact, I'm able to reach out to more students if I do what I do today. And being a motivational speaker, being a trainer. So I teach leadership, I teach productivity, I teach public speaking, I teach business writing. I think I'm even able to expand my reach, not only to one university or school, but to as many audiences as we can. So, but maybe when I'm 50 or 60 years old, if I can create courses, because it's different when you're also teaching. There's a difference when you're teaching a student for a long amount of time. You get to really see their growth versus only teaching a student for 1 hour or for one day. So I get your point, however. So maybe when I'm 50 or 60, I would love to teach leadership in an MBA school. I would love to teach public speaking or business writing as a prerequisite for people who are about to enter the corporate world. Okay. So there. Okay. What else? Oh, by the way, dagdag ko, no? My ultimate goal for our company is that we get to expand our classes. So our SMX Convention Center classes that happen every month only happen once a month. So my dream is that if in the next 6 months or in the next year, I can conduct our Booster Confidence Workshop twice a month. And then maybe I can graduate that into every weekend. We just have a sustainable amount of students who come in and out. That would be great. That would be amazing. Okay. Shay Duave Salvador. Hi, Jonathan. Two questions. Number one, if you have a low performing staff, what should you focus on? His strengths or on his weaknesses? And number two, do you agree that ang daya nito ha, dalawang questions agad, but let me answer them. Do you agree that the Gen Zs in the workplace are the least resilient? Okay. First question first. If I have a low performing staff, what should you focus on, his strengths or weaknesses? I would focus on his strengths if the strengths are low hanging fruits, that they are tested to deliver money for work, for business. Okay. I will work, however, on his weaknesses if the weaknesses are so glaring that they drag down so many members of the teams. If the weakness are only individual, it only creates an individual impact, probably not gonna make so much effort onto it. But if mistakes, if the weakness is affecting the seatmate, the other team members, I need to work on that instead. Okay. Question number two: do you agree that the Gen Zs in the workforce are the least resilient? I will, ugh, I will say yes, without generalizing, because I have, well, number one, I've seen a lot of hardworking Gen Zs, and I've seen also a lot of Gen Zs which are tougher in terms of how they see life. I do think, however, that generally there can be a reason as to why they're least resilient. And the reason for that is because, number one, they're more susceptible to believing that everything that they see in social media is the truth. And so it affects the way they see themselves. Meaning, they often see so many good looking people on TikTok and they start thinking that they're uglier than the rest of them. And that lowers their morale, that lowers their confidence, it lowers their ability to think that if I might not be the most good looking person in the world, it should not matter at all. I have other good things that I can brag about myself. So I will say yes, only because they were unfortunate to live in a time that the only stimulus that they have is social media. I'm from Generation Y. I'm different because I understood the world before and after social media. And I'm already at this age, I'm nearing my 40s. I'm at this age already when I tell to myself, even if I think I'm not good in X, I don't care. I'm so good in Y. I'm so good in Z. I'm so good in A. All this other goodness, it overwhelms all the bad things about me. And that makes me still confident about myself. That makes me resilient. So whenever I'm about to fall, I tell to myself, it's just one aspect of my life. It does not define the rest of my life also. That mindset, I think, is missing from a lot of Gen Zs these days. So I would love to invite a lot of leaders and managers. You have a big shoes to fill. I think we need to step up and we need to hustle more into educating and coaching the Gen Zs on how to cope better with their lives. So there. Grabe pang Miss Universe ang tanong ah. Oh, I hope you guys were able to be satisfied with that answer. Okay, let's answer some more. Let's answer this time from TikTok. Ooh, AJ Castañeda. How do you easily spot a coworker who does not like you? Like, are there any signs at all? Yes, if this person keeps on rebutting everything that you say, even if your answers make sense. They rebut you in meetings, or they say, for example, like, I'm not sure about that. Maybe we should check first. Because if a person likes you, they will find a reason to affirm your statements. That for me is one of the red flags that this person doesn't like you. When I was younger, I thought that if the person does not speak to you, they don't like you automatically. And I learned later in life that's not true. Some people may not want to speak with you because they happen to be intimidated by you. It doesn't mean that they don't like you. It just means that they're concerned about what will happen if they speak to you, for example. Okay. Okay. Lots of questions on Facebook, by the way. Rio Abrio on Facebook. John, what are your thoughts on jumping career from operations officer from the same company for 20 years to being a sales officer to another company, offering twice my salary from my existing organization? Life altering decision. Help, please. Rio, number one, what are your objectives for transferring? If your objective is financial reason, meaning you want to build a house, you want to build a family, if your salary is doubled, come on now, doubled, seriously, 30,000, you're now earning 60,000. And if your issue is financial, if your goal is financial, you have a financial goal, go for it. Okay. Number two, if your reason is you want to learn something new, you want a new challenge, you think that being an operations officer is starting to make you feel bored, this is a sign. This is a good opportunity for you. The reason why it's easy to switch from operations to sales is because sales, I'd like to think, can be open for anyone. Sales is more of the ability to communicate with a customer. There's a mathematical acumen that you need somehow because you need to forecast. You also need to create reports. You also need to file dependencies on your products and services. So if you're not good on that, so be cautious on that portion. But nevertheless, if you're looking for new challenges, then this is a sign. I think you should jump. Okay. When do I think that you should stay in your company? Well, a lot of things. Uh, if you think that you're the happiest already, we have an amazing set of colleagues. You're 5 minutes away from the office, and all of these are happening at the same time, then you're in such a good place. If you're looking for new excitement, you can still stay in the same company without having to change the company, but you just need to change your position or change your boss or change your department. That's another reason. Again, you don't need to climb a new mountain to get to the peak of a mountain. You probably just need to use a different route instead. Okay? But Rio, my gut tells me the reason why you are considering this position is because it's twice the salary. And who doesn't want to resist that? Also, I want to tell you, if you happen to fail in this job, that's fine. You can always look for another position. Okay. I'm looking at your photo on Facebook. You seem to be young, which means that you will not have a hard time if you want to look for another job again in the future. Okay. Is life unfair because we are ageists? We often prefer younger people to older people when it comes to recruiting people. Yes, it's unfair. But there somehow is a technical reason for it. Employers prefer energetic folks. Employers prefer younger folks who may not have responsibilities in life. So be mindful. If you happen to be Rio, if this is not your true photo, and you probably are like what, 60 or 70 years old or 50 years old, maybe one of the reasons why it's not a good thing to move out is because if ever you fail in the sales position, you will not be able to find a new job easily afterwards. Okay. 𝗟𝗺𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃 is asking on TikTok, thoughts about being a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Okay. Uh, it is a given that in today's world, a lot of people know so many things. So there are more jack of all trades than people who are a master of something. Okay. It is also a given in life that if you are the only person or one of the few people who knows or is an expert on something, your value is way higher. Data scientists get a high salary because there aren't much data scientists yet in this world, for example. Nurses who fly from the Philippines to other countries get really ridiculous amount of salary. It's because they're rare. So the same thing happens here. If you can master one, if you can master one skill that no other people can do, I think you can win the game. Okay? Does this mean that being a jack of all trades is a bad thing? I don't think so. I think being a jack of all trades is good because you don't need to be reliant on so many people, that you can do everything on your own. But I also think that even if you have known so many things, if the depth of your knowledge is not good, you will still not be able to apply it anyway because your knowledge is this level only, right? Okay, is it normal that your boss knows your salary? Says Aloof. It can be normal. It can also be normal that your boss does not know your salary. Okay. So it depends. Depends on the company, depends on the structure. If your boss promoted you, likely they know your salary because they will be given an offer sheet from HR indicating what your new salary is. Luan, okay, I like this. Luan Pamular Subion says, John, do you think that being overly optimistic in all aspects of work is good? I think it's good to be optimistic, period. I think that being overly optimistic to the point that you are denying the realities of life. So many people are already telling you that this is not a good decision. You have seen other people fail when they took on the same decision, and yet you still have this optimism thinking, no, pwede yan, kaya yan. You're not being optimistic. You're being stubborn. And that's not a good thing because you have to ground yourself to reality and remind yourself that if it's not good for you, you should not take it. Okay, Luan? J.A. Rodriguez, can you do an online talk in a private company? J.A., I think it's your first time to listen to me. That's why you're asking this. But if you know me well for the past 10 years, this is what I do for a living. So, yes, you can send us an invitation for an online talk for your private company. Okay, let's go for TikTok. Which is more important, says Budots? Career growth and high salary, or comfortable or stress free work but no growth? Depends. Again, depends on your objective. If I were to choose, again, this is me answering, which means this answer could be different from another person. I would choose career growth and high salary. Why? When, number one, I derive my happiness from success. Because when I succeed, I'm able to share my blessings with others. I know it sounds cheesy, but that's my ultimate goal in life. So my mindset in life is that at the age of 38, I'm already happy with what I have. If I still want to accumulate more wealth, it's not because I want to buy a new car. I'm not that type of person. I don't wear a Rolex watch. I'm not into branded clothes. I do love spending on a business class flight, however, for my trips. So if there's anything that I purchase luxuriously, it would be that. But ultimately, the reason why I still want to work hard is because I want to be able to accumulate a certain amount of money for my other ambitions to give back to society. So I've been very vocal about this. I want to do my own orphanage. I want to do my own shelter for dogs. I want to do a restaurant inspired by good taste in Baguio City where they serve 140 peso vegetables, rice and chicken and it's so cheap. I want to do the same thing wherein unemployed people or let's say drivers or janitors or people with very humble salaries, they can bring their family to this restaurant, have a buffet, similar to the 85 peso buffet breakfast that's been viral on TikTok. I want to create something like that because that is what makes me happy in life. And then I want to earn more money because I want to enter politics and I don't want to be dependent on other people's funding. I want to be able to fund my own campaign. That's the reason why I want to take for career growth. Okay. Now, John, does this mean that if a person chooses instead that they want a stress free life, they're bad people or they're not as good as you or they're losers? Not at all. You can choose to have a stress free life, but you have to embrace the fact that they are trade offs. When I choose career growth, I have already accepted the fact that it comes with sleepless nights, it comes with stress, and that's why I need to take good care of my health beyond the usual because if I'm not healthy, I will not be able to continue, right? I take those as part of my life. Same thing also happens here. If you want to take a stress free life, you should not also be complaining that nothing is happening in your life if you aspire for better things in life. Okay? So, to each his own, to each her own. You can decide what you want, but you have to embrace the trade off. You mostly do not get everything. You can't have the cake and eat it too. Okay? Okay. I think we can take on two more questions. Oh, I'm hitting 20 questions tonight. That's a feat. Okay. Rio is asking, wow, Rio says that she's 40 years old. That's so cool. Okay, Rio, you look very young in your photo. Okay. So, Rio, I do think that 40 is still very manageable. And if you're looking for a sales position, there are other positions that are also sales related that I still think that can take you on. Take note, I'm gonna put some grain of salt here. Obviously, for most companies, they prefer 20s and 30s compared to 40s. That's a given in life, not just in the Philippines, but in many parts of the world. So that's just one caution I'd like you to take. Okay? When you leave this company and you decide to take on the new company. Okay, Kawakami, it's nice to see you last 29th. We learned a lot. What happened on 29th? The SMX. Yes. Thank you. I also enjoyed our workshop at the SMX Convention Center. Okay. Okay, one more question here. John, I cannot attend your SMX Convention Center workshops. Is there any way to learn more from you? Yes. Three ways. Number one, we have online courses. Go to our website, johnyabut.com/talks. You can enroll in any of our 9 workshops, 1.5 hour each with digital certificates, public speaking, business writing, leadership, productivity, mental wellness, etc. That's one. Number two, if mabitin kayo after this live stream, go to Spotify, check out our podcast. Podcast title is From Grit to Great. Number three, nagbenta na talaga, no? I just need to promote this. Number three, you can catch our best-selling books. They're available in National Bookstore, Fully Booked, Lazada, Shopee. If you're on TikTok, they're available in our Yellow Basket. All of our four books are certified bestseller by National Bookstore. I need to brag about this. When I say bestseller, it means I did not say that myself. You need to be able to sell a certain number of books for you to become a certified bestseller by National Bookstore. And we have that title for all our four books. So please grab copies. We'll be very happy because part of the proceeds of our books go to our 54 scholars from St. Joseph's Academy in Malinaw, Aklan, where my parents come from. We've been taking good care of 54 scholars now for around, this year is our fourth year. And here's the interesting part, because COVID-19 happened, I have not yet seen these scholars. Oh, it's my mom who goes to a clan and sees them one by one. So this coming September, October, I'm hoping that I will be able to see all of them. So wish me luck. Age McBride, is there a certificate for our workshop in the SM Aura? Of course. The certificate are also digital. Gen 6, why are you not adding a shopping basket in your live stream? I should know. I just find it a bit dirty and I feel like it's hard sell sometimes. So, sige. Thank you for reminding me. I'll do that next time for TikTok. Okay. Let's pick one more question. Okay, L. I'm reading this from L because I think L has been persistent writing this in the TikTok chat box. I am a BS Business Administration graduate, worked as a data analyst for 6 years. That's quite a lot. I am not sure about the next career path to take. What's your advice? Reverse, do a reverse engineering of your plan in life. So don't think of what you're doing right now. Think of what you want to see in yourself in the next 5 or 10 years. So, for example, again, I wish that I will not use myself as an example, but it's the easiest way for me to answer this. So, my ultimate goal in life is that when I'm 60 years old, 60 or 55, since I was in high school, I wanted to serve in the country. I want to be in the public service. I want to be either a senator, I want to be a Department of Tourism secretary, or it could be a president of the Philippines. And the reason for that is because if no one can fix this country, I would love to fix so many things. And that's because that's part of who I am. That's part of my personality. So for me to reverse engineer that, I have to backtrack. In order for me to become a president, I have to perhaps be a senator. For me to be popular enough to be voted as a senator with a good track record, I need to be appointed as a secretary of tourism or transportation or education. The reason for that is because I don't want to go to congressman or to mayor route because I don't want to enter local politics. But you can assign private people to be part of the government's cabinet. For me to be able to do that, I need to be well known in the public service or in the industry. And that's why I do my motivational talks. Which means if I were to reverse engineer my plan, I have to be as successful as I should be in my motivational talks. And every time I do a talk, I am already campaigning about myself. And I can give back to as many people who I can count on later in life to vote for me. This is what I want you to do with your life. So 10 years from now, what do you see of yourself? Do you see yourself as a father? Do you see yourself as a business owner? Do you see yourself as a CEO of a company? Put that down. And from there, reverse engineer what you need to happen. If you want to become a CEO of a company, you need to become what? Vice president, perhaps. To be a vice president, you need to be what? A team head or a director of a department. To be a director of department, you need to be what? Promoted to X, Y, and Z. That's assuming that you're coming from the same industry. But your question now here is, you're a data analyst, but you don't know what you want to happen. Question, is data analysis what you really want to do in your life? Or does it matter to you at all if you are into data analysis? Are you also okay to, let's say, go into IT, go to entrepreneurship, etc.? A lot of us these days want to become entrepreneurs. So, for example, if that's your concern, then if being an entrepreneur is your goal in the next 10 years and you're a data analyst right now, to bridge those two, one thing is clear. You have to accumulate good amount of money for you to be able to invest in capital for you to be able to run your business. What does that mean? It's either you get promoted fast to increase your salary, number two, get a second job or hustle, or number three, you can start a smaller business right now and grow it to something that's bigger for you to be able to graduate into an even bigger business. You see my point here and here? Can I get an exclamation mark if we appreciate what I'm doing about reverse engineering? Do not look upwards. Start at the top and go downwards to where you are today. That will help you identify how you're going to make those small steps from point A to point B. Okay? Oy, nag-overtime tayo tonight 10:30 na. So, I still need to walk my dogs. Thank you very much for joining our workshop. Not workshop, workshop na naman. Our live stream. Sorry guys, I'm used to saying workshop because that's what I do for a living. Thank you for attending our live stream. Had an amazing time. Remember, I'm only as good as the energy you give back to me. So, arguably, this is one of those evening sessions where I had so many questions pouring in, even from YouTube, which is usually not normal. Okay? So, thank you. I'll catch you again. I will go online tomorrow around same time. Okay? Because my Friday night only happens at 11 p.m. Oy, may social life ako. So I'll be able to go online tomorrow around 8:30 or 9 p.m. I'll catch you again and stay safe, stay dry as well. Always aspire for a better version. See you guys.